Hey everyone, welcome back. We are going to take a deeper look today at the similarities and the differences between summary and analysis. So if you've been keeping up with all these videos, you know that we've already had a lesson on summary versus analysis where we played a little practice game called Thumbs Up. If you remember, I gave you different sentences and had you identify whether you thought that those were summary or analysis type statements. So one was identified with one thumbs up, the other was with two thumbs up. And so the reason I did that was because I didn't want to play thumbs up, thumbs down, which would maybe make you think that one is better than the other. It's not, it's just that they're two different styles. So what's important for you to understand both as a writer and a reader and a test taker is that there's a difference between the two. So what we're going to do is just dig a little bit deeper into what those similarities and differences are so that you have an overall better understanding, regardless of whether you're the reader, the writer, or like I said, taking a test, and you just need to be able to understand the difference. Okay, so this video is going to take us through that, and I might pause along the way because you are going to be taking notes. So if you don't have your notes out, please get those ready, whether it's paper and pen or on the computer. As I always say, if it works for you, it works for me. So get ready to go, and what you're going to want to do is either draw a line down the middle and make one side summary and the other side analysis, or what I like to do is a Venn diagram. So just go ahead and give yourself two circles, call the left side summary, call the right side analysis, and as you know, the middle will be the similarities between the two. So something simple just like this. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that. Okay, just something simple. You know what a Venn diagram is. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Make sure you are ready and in an environment that's as distraction-free as possible. All right, here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Writing Center tutorial on analysis. In this tutorial, you'll learn what analysis really is, how to do an analysis, and what analysis looks like. To get started, you can choose the path you want to take by clicking on one of the options to the left.
So I'm just going to get started at the top. So what is an analysis? So wherever your notes are, make sure you're on the analysis side right now.
Okay, so what is analysis really? First, it's not simply a summary. To analyze is to go beneath the surface and closely examine all of the factors that may be involved. Whether you are analyzing a controversial issue, a piece of literature, an historical event, or a social policy, you'll need to understand how the various factors that are present influence each other and what effects they create. By examining each of the elements or ideas, only then can you fully understand the complexities of how each function and work together, which is the purpose of doing an analysis. We examine and study the complexities in order to reach some of our own conclusions. Let's look at the differences between a summary, which you are probably already familiar with, and an analysis to help you better understand what is expected when you analyze. When you write a summary, it is typically short. You identify the main points or findings, but you don't include any strong argument or conclusions of your own. You are simply presenting factual and unbiased information that you have. However, an analysis is different. When you analyze, you don't just identify the main points. You should be examining how and why. Dig deeper and closely examine the elements. You'll discuss why that element is important or significant, how that element relates to other elements involved, perhaps how and why that element may cause certain effects. You might discuss the strengths or weaknesses of that element, or how and why it is effective or ineffective. And when you write an analysis, you should draw a conclusion after closely examining the elements and make an argument that supports your conclusions. So now that we've gone over what analysis is and how it's different than summarizing, let's explore how to actually do an analysis. The first step in doing an analysis is to choose which specific elements you're going to closely examine. You'll need to break down the story, the event, or the policy, for example, that you are analyzing into its various elements or parts, so that you can then begin closely examining each part. For example, elements of a story may be the setting, the characters, or the conflict. Elements of a social issue may be the economic effects, the ethical perspective, or the people that are affected. The second step in analysis is to make some notes for each element you are examining by asking some why and how questions. You'll want to do some outside research to help you to answer these questions. And the third step is to make some overall conclusions based on the questions and answers for each of the elements you have analyzed. Your conclusions will be your analysis that you write in your paper. Here are some how and why questions to help you analyze your topic. How does this element affect the other elements? How do I understand this element and its function? Why is this element significant? Why is this element effective or ineffective? How and why does this element cause certain effects? How does this element contribute to the overall meaning? Okay, let's take a look at a sample analysis to see it in action. A strong argument or conclusion is present. A specific element or area is examined. An examination and interpretation of that element is discussed. And why that element is important or significant is addressed. And now let's compare that analysis to a sample summary on the same topic to see how analysis goes beyond summary. The summary is much shorter than the analysis. There is no strong argument or conclusion present. There is an identification of the elements that were included. There is an identification of the main points. Again, an analysis is more than summarizing what you've read. It's asking and answering some how and why questions to reach some significant conclusions of your own. Hopefully, you can now move forward with doing your own analysis. For more information on this topic, click on Resources. Thank you.
All right. So you probably have a little bit of a lopsided Venn diagram, and that's okay, because more of what we just focused on was analysis, and that's the part that can sometimes be trickier, right? Because it takes more thinking. And so for a lot of us, it's natural to summarize an event or a piece of literature because we've been doing this our whole lives. So somebody asks for the short story, right? Or if something happens to you and you're like, do you want the long story or the short story? A lot of times people ask for the short story. So we've been practicing all along how to condense something longer into something shorter. We're often in a hurry and people don't always want to hear the full story. So that's a skill that tends to come a little bit more naturally than an analysis. So with analysis, you may have just taken notes, and I'm going to show you mine real quick so it's at least on the screen. It's kind of hard to see. I'm sorry. But some of the things that I wrote down that I want to make sure that you capture in your notes under analysis is that this digs beneath the surface. It leads to conclusions and answers the how and why questions that we have. It can deal with cause and effect, strong versus weak, effective versus ineffective elements. So essentially what you'll have is a piece of work that you're going to analyze, and you're going to make a conclusion about a certain element of that piece and decide, was it effective or ineffective? Was it strong or weak? And then you have to support that conclusion with evidence. So that's where your analysis is going to come in handy when it comes to you writing, okay? So versus on the other side, under summary, some of the things that you'll have written down: short, identifies main points, no strong argument or conclusion, and factual and unbiased. So just remember, a summary has nothing to do with you. A summary has everything to do with the facts. It's all about the facts. So it's like taking your essay and breaking something down into bullet points, right? So the outline version and then the essay. So the outline version would be a summary of your essay. You've all done that before. So the summary is definitely very concise. Now, what you may have had in the middle of your Venn diagram as a similarity is that these are both writing styles that discuss another piece of work, whether it be in writing or a visual, so a movie or clip. It could be a poem. We can analyze a lot of things. And so both of these are styles that further look into a piece of work, okay? So I want you to just take away those major differences so that you understand when you're asked to do one or the other what the differences are. So make sure that you save these in your notes because we will be using them in the future, okay? And that's going to be all for today. We will catch you next time. All right.